All right, and we're live. So, want to thank everyone for joining the Maywood Together 2020 party for 2021 party for our April 6, 2021 local election. My name is Nathaniel George Booker, and I am your mayoral candidate for the Maywood Together party. Tonight, we're going to have a great community discussion, and in having our great community discussion, we have the lovely Deborah Vines, who is running for trustee for the Village of Maywood. We have Trustee Antonio Sanchez, who's running for reelection. We have Trustee Melvin Lightford, who's running for reelection. And we have Diane Williams, who's running for our clerk for the Village of Maywood. And we will allow our moderator tonight, who's going to be our campaign manager, Ray Williams, to take it from here.
So good evening, everyone. Definitely want to thank you all for getting on the call tonight. Before each and every one of our meetings or each and every one of our gatherings, we bow to the Lord in prayer. So we're going to start in prayer tonight. Father, we thank you for just allowing us to come together once again. We thank you for this time of sharing. Thank you for each and every one of us that's on the call tonight, and each and every one of us that's watching us over Facebook, YouTube, wherever our voice is being carried right now. We hope for a great community discussion, God, and to allow your presence to show up in each and every conversation that we're having tonight, God. In the name of Jesus, we ask that you bless each and every person, each and every family that's represented here today. In Jesus' name, we thank you. Amen.
Amen.
We definitely thank everyone for being on tonight. As Nathaniel said, April 6, 2021 is election day here in the village of Maywood, and we have an awesome team that we think is going to move our village forward. And you're going to get to hear from each and every candidate tonight. And then we would like to hear from you all. If you have anything of concern, just put it in the chat. We'll monitor the chat. We'll try answering your questions. And if anything, you can always reach us at www.maywoodtogether2021.org. We'll answer any questions that you have. Our campaign office is 906 South 5th Avenue. We're there every single day of the week, Sunday through Saturday. Come out, volunteer, share with us, donate to the campaign. Just come and see what exciting that we have in store for the village of Maywood. April 6th is going down. We encourage everyone to get involved in the Maywood Together campaign. I'm going to introduce our trustee candidates first, allow them to give a couple minutes why they're running, what are some of the goals and visions they have. Then we'll talk to our mayoral candidate, and then we'll attempt to answer any questions that you guys may have that you're putting in the chats. We're going to start off with, like Nate said, the lovely Deborah Vines, a great friend of mine, one who I know will be a great asset on the Maywood Village Board. Deb, take it away.
I cannot hear.
Deb, you're muted.
Okay, I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Deborah Vines, and I am currently the founder and CEO of the Answer Incorporated Autism Awareness and Support Agency, a longtime resident of Maywood. My late husband and I actually moved to Maywood in 1978. So we've lived throughout the Proviso Township, from Broadview back to Maywood and then the city, but back to Maywood again. So I've actually been back to Maywood as a resident for about maybe 16 years. And I'm excited to be a resident of Maywood right now because I am definitely reimagining what Maywood could be even better than it used to be. Some of the goals that I would like to see happen, or even that I would like to be a part of as trustee, if I'm blessed enough to be elected, is I'd like to work with the police department to better connect the current Maywood alternative policing strategy. I think we must establish and share measurable goals that we all can agree and be active and be a part of. I would like to update technology for reporting and tracking recurrent issues with negative activity in the community. Public safety is a big issue for all of us right now with the civil unrest that's happening throughout the country. And since I am the mom of a special needs individual which happens to be a Black male, I'm definitely concerned and want to be part of, have more of a partnership with the police department and work on partnerships throughout the Chicagoland area to reimagine ceasefire in partnership with Chicago and Chicago-based organizations like Cure Violence and Align Mission. Reactivate programs like the Neighborhood Watch and the Drug Abuse Assistance Education. Being a resident of Maywood, a very long time resident, I know so many individuals that have actually seen how God has worked through me and changed my life as an ex-offender, and I say ex with a lot of X's because I'm not really proud of some of the things that has happened in my life, but I thank God for them because it's made me the person that I am today. So I would like to see more partnerships for not partnerships, but actually partner with other organizations so that we can bring programs for ex-offenders to the community of Maywood, because we have a lot of families that have a lot of family members that are coming home from prison and even just do some stints in jail and get in a little trouble and can't even do anything to rectify their life right here in the village. So I want to be a part of something to make that happen. And and have more programs for the special needs individuals as well. So that's just some of the things. I could talk all night about what I want to see for Maywood, but that's some of the things that I would like to do.
Thanks, Deb. Next is Melvin Lyford. He's a trustee here in the village of Maywood, the longest serving trustee right now in the village of Maywood, and he's running for re-election. Take it away, Mel.
Hello. Deborah, come behind you. That's kind of hard. My name is Melvin Lightfoot, and I'm running for the village of Maywood for another term. The reason why I want to improve Maywood. We have bills, electrical bills and stuff that our bills, our municipalities, excuse me. I'm not that good. Municipalities, and we can bring our bills down. One of the reasons, my main reason, is solar. Solar coming to Illinois for the first time. It just crossed the Mississippi River 4 years ago. I knew about it in 1975. So we need solar in our communities. We got 2 fire stations. We got a police station. We got 40 West Madison building. We got a 200 building. We got a generator that pumps water to Maywood 24 hours a day. And that's a large electric bill. We need to lower these bills and lower down so we can use our money for other things in our municipalities. We can do better in our municipalities if we bring our lower bills down. We haven't had raise our tax or water bills for 5 years. I think it's 5 years, a little bit more. And we're gonna do better. As long as we keep bring our bills down and help our community, and our senior citizens like me at 73 can go further. The second thing I want to do is what I've been doing for 10 years. I've been taking kids fishing. I want to make sure our kids get out to the streets. I want to see our children improve. I want to see our children be not afraid to go to the corner. Right now, kids in Maywood, Illinois, I don't believe they've been to such far places to get off the corner to see that there's more parts of life. I learned at 17 when I joined the Army. So there's more part of life than being on that corner. These kids need to learn with good tutoring, with people talking to them. They're going fishing, they're going horseback riding, we're going partnering with Cook County commissioners with all the programs they got. We can hook together with them and we can make sure that our kids are safe and our kids are tutored, our kids are monitored. We need to save our babies. I am tired. The reason why I joined to be a trustee in the first place, one thing, I'm tired of small caskets. I don't want to see none of our children perish. I have enough. Thank you.
Right, so thank you, Melvin, for that. Next, we're gonna have trustee Antonio Sanchez.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us. Right before this meeting, we were all talking amongst ourselves, and it makes me proud to be on this team for many reasons, but one main reason was just this conversation that we had 20 minutes ago. We're discussing our talking points, and I'm proud to be a member of this team because it was a agreed upon moment when everyone said, talk from the heart. Don't script it. Talk from the heart. And that's awesome. I wanted to start off by saying that. Proud to be a member of the Maywood Together slate. My name is Antonio Sanchez. I am a current trustee here for the village. I'm seeking a re-election term in this up and coming April 2021 election. It has been a crazy 4 years, to say the least. He's rolled up, uphill battles, and the job isn't done. The job isn't done, and that's why I'm rerunning again. Hopefully, with your help, hopefully with your vote, we can get all of the Maywood Together slate voted in. It's been a great honor to work with current trustee Nathaniel Booker and current trustee Melvin Lyford. That's just 3 of us. We need everyone. We need Deborah Vines. We need Diane Williams. We need this complete slate to actually make the Maywood change. Multiple points that we can all and we will all base and touch base upon. But one of my bigger passions, one of my background stories is that I am first generation born here in this country. I'm third generation village of Maywood. Now, you're going to ask, what does that mean, third generation? Well, my grandfather came here as an immigrant. My father came here as an immigrant. They managed to establish themselves in this community, open up a business, transform this business into the current banquet hall that it is today. My family owns Mariella's Banquets. We just opened a smaller venue next door. And we have been tragically hit with COVID. Shut down since March of 2020. How we're staying afloat? Great question. This is why I'm very passionate when it comes to talking about business. Is one pivotal, important piece of the puzzle. Oh, there's a lot of pieces. Pivotal piece of the puzzle for this community to flourish. We need to entice more business. Without it, this community will be residential based. Now, we all had a huge hurdle regarding this tax levy of ours. It just got passed. Super proud of that. And this is one of the reasons why we need to continue the fight. I believe we're doing an introduction amongst ourselves, and then we'll come back and talk on specific points that we're proud of, specific points that we still want to work on. Once again, I thank everyone for being here and taking time out of their busy schedule to get to know who we are, to get to know who you're voting for, to get to know what we're about. And sincerely, thank you very much. Once again, Maywood Together 2021. We need your help. This is a pivotal point in this wonderful community. We have what it takes to make this community great. Thank you.
And next we will have Diane Williams. Thanks, Tony. Diane Williams is running for clerk on the Maywood Together 2021 ticket.
Thank you, Ray, and thank you, Tony. Hello, everybody. I am a longtime resident and homeowner here in Maywood, currently on the school board, District 89. This is going into my 3rd term there. Actually, managing broker at our family's real estate office, Denora Realty on 17th Avenue. And just quite involved in the community. A lot of things that I have done and currently doing now. But I'm running for village clerk. And the reason why I want to run is because I want to be the glue, help be the glue that will propel our team forward to bring Maywood to be better than it ever has been. There are lots of things I know that we all want to see done, but it has to be done by teamwork. Not just one person can do it. The village clerk is the person who is the keeper of all the records, and the person who will help service the different programs that come through the village. And hopefully the office will be the one to be innovative enough to bring more revenue into the village as well, have some ideas there as well. But like Tony said, I'm glad to be a part of this particular team because we are like-minded individuals. All of us are homeowners. Several of us are business owners as well. And we do have the community at heart. We want to see it flourish the way that we know that it can. And thank you for attending tonight.
Thank you, Diane. And next we'll have kind of sort of like the brainchild of this whole operation, the one who helps bring this entire team together and who will help complete this entire team. And that's our candidate for mayor, Trustee Nathaniel Booker.
Hello, Maywood. Thank you so much for this opportunity for joining into the discussion about talking about moving Maywood forward together. I am a current trustee for the Village of Maywood, and I am your candidate for mayor for 2021. My background is my family has been residents of the Village of Maywood since the 1960s. My grandfather was a homeowner here, my father homeowner here, and now I am a homeowner. So I'm a third generation homeowner here in the Village of Maywood. My background professionally is organizational development and performance improvement, and my background is hospitality management. So when I moved back home from New York City as an area director for performance improvement and organizational development, I realized that there were a lot of things going on in our community that could be done better. I saw that they could be done better from a business perspective. I saw that those things could be better done from a homeowner perspective. There's a lot of red tape that we put into our residents and we put into our businesses that could be worked on. We have great opportunity to build our commercial infrastructure that would help lessen the burden of property taxes and our high water rate. Over the past few years, I have worked to establish so many partnerships and breaking so many different silos that exist in the community that I know when I say like teamwork makes the dream work, we can do so much in the Village of Maywood by just working better together. So when we talk about public safety, violence prevention, economic access, opportunity and equity, a high performing community in education and workforce partnerships, innovation and thinking about health and social resources for our residents, having an accountable, service-driven and transparent government, as well as having fair taxes, enhancing our infrastructure, and working on reliable services. All of these things I know are extremely possible. We've done a lot in 2020. We did a lot in 2019. We're just getting started. And we say Maywood together because it's not just the village board, it's we're working with so many different nonprofits, so many different agencies and organizations who want to see the neighborhood move forward, as well as our other taxing bodies such as the Park District, the Library, School District 209 and School District 89. So we'll get a little bit more into those conversations, but I want to thank you all again for joining to hear and share our vision.
Thanks, Nate. Once again, if you guys have any comments, questions, or you guys want to kind of join in on the chat tonight, just leave your questions in the comment section. If you're on Facebook, if you're here on Zoom live with us, just leave your comments or questions in the chat, and we'll be sure to kind of answer those questions. And we want to kind of get into a community chat now that you have been privy to hearing from the candidates, learning a little bit of their background. We want them to go into a little bit of the community chat and express some ideas and hit on a few points that they're really passionate about. And we're going to let Mayor Booker go first.
Speak it into existence. All right, so I mean, when we think about Maywood, there's so many, like, you can start from so many different topics and there's so many different things, right? But let's just break down a couple, right? When we say, like trustee, I'm speaking into existence as well, like our future trustee Vine said, public safety and just overall quality of life is such a pivotal thing that we need in our community. We need to better our partnerships with our health resources, with our mental health resources. We do need to revitalize things such as neighborhood watch, dare programs in the community. You know, when she talks about making sure that we have incubator opportunities for our residents, those are real things. When Trustee Sanchez says we've been fiscally responsible, we've been trying to be the most fiscally responsible agents, keep in mind, we raised a zero, we did not do a tax levy this year. So there was a 0% tax levy. That hasn't happened in over a decade. We've increased our operating budget year over year over year. And as many residents can agree, the resources that we receive do not reflect the amount of the increases that have taken place. The village of Maywood today is one of the highest tax communities in Cook County. Is for the city of Chicago that receives water, we pay some of the highest rates for receiving water. When you look at almost 1,300 communities throughout the entire state of Illinois, we are in the bottom 10% for lead service pipeline, which means we have more lead in our pipes than over 90% of the state of Illinois. There are opportunities that we can do things. We can work with Springfield. We can work with the federal government. We can work with Cook County. When we talk about bringing businesses into the community, just like any other investor wants to see a business plan, the village of Maywood needs a strategic plan. A strategic plan that we're operating on, where now we're saying, you want a tax incentive? Guess what? We want workforce development. We want to make sure that we're investing in our youth. So let's bring all of the programs together. Let's bring all the nonprofits together.
So we have a you kind of froze, Nate.
Want me to take over?
Well, no. So while we wait to get Nate back, we do have a question in the chat on Facebook, and Debo Harvey, who's been a diehard for Maywood for years. He goes hard for his village. And the question was kind of answered, but we want to kind of elaborate it on a little bit. He wants to know, how do we move from taxes to revenue? That's Debo's question.
So when we think about moving from taxes to revenue, we look at the village of Maywood is centrally located. We are between two international airports. We have two metro stops right at the cusp of us. So realistically, at the Melrose Park stop or at the Maywood stop on the metro, those both should be transit-oriented development. But what is the plan for it? We actually put a plan in place to attract businesses to that. When we talk about incentives that we roll out, or when we talk about having TIF districts along the entire Roosevelt corridor, along the entire Fifth Avenue, all of Madison, what is the plan for it? We become more competitive with our revenue by actually investing in a strategic plan. We become more competitive with our revenue by looking at the clerk's office and looking at the community development department and saying to ourselves, what are the hurdles that a business owner or a homeowner goes through that they don't go through in other communities? And how can we make it better? Just starting at those simple things, putting a plan together to go to a business and say, this is our plan, will you join us? And going to our community development department in our clerk's office and saying, these are past practices that are outdated, antiquated, and not friendly to growth of our community. Though that's the starting point.
So let's move to you, Tony. Let's move to some of your talking points.
So am I muted? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So earlier, I was speaking about the necessity to bring business to this community. And it breaks my heart. What I'm about to say is that I just found out a couple of years ago, I want to say like 2 years ago, I've been knowing this family for quite some time. They were offering their catering services to my family's business, to our banquets. Consistently, this man was asking me advice on how to start a brick and mortar. Proudly, I offered the village of Maywood, and I said, please invest in this community. Come and see for yourself, see the demographics, see if it suits your business. I convinced them to open up a brick and mortar. It's a taco stand on Fifth Avenue. It's called Taqueria Magallanes. Fast food, delicious food. Breaks my heart to say that they are closing. Gave them a call, spoke to them. I said, why are you closing? Obviously not enough revenue. And it just did not help that there was no incentivized portion of business. He needed more help, more people walking in. There is a necessity, and it's a must that our Maywood dollars stay in Maywood. Something that I continue to preach. Something that I continue to strive to keep this money in this community. Some of my basic talking points were some of the proud things that we have accomplished in the past couple of years. Not sure if you guys knew, but we as trustees have a spending stipend. Spending stipend that was being used incorrectly. With the help of Trustee Booker and Trustee Lightford, we abolished it. We abolished it because there was not enough transparency. My background is finance, and at the end of the day, the numbers do not lie. There was no financial transparency with these stipends. Fortunate. Another thing, leading into the finance part of it, we reestablished the finance committee, which was a defunct committee, wasn't even meeting. It hadn't met for God knows how many years. We've been operating this committee now for the past year and asking for that transparency and asking our employees, our department heads, why? Why do you need this material? Why do you need that, whatever, laptop or computer or shovel or what have you? It's a necessity to ask why are we spending X amount of dollars for X amount of things. Starting this year, we are commencing our finance committee on January 21st, where we're hoping to ask department heads right before the budget. Our budget needs to be approved by April, if I'm not mistaken. And we're gonna ask why these things are being asked for, or to explain to us what their budgets are. Something that's extremely important that I'm really proud of that that Mayor Booker mentioned, and we can't take the credit for this. I give the credit to the residents of this community. The tax levy. How can you want to increase a tax levy when the Cook County tax assessor just hit us with a horrible assessment of our property value? Now, this is the residential side. The commercial side, oh my goodness. assessed values doubled for commercial properties in this community. So not only are we one of the highest taxed communities, commercial, which we're begging businesses to come in, got hit double by the assessor. Now, on top of that, you want to increase a tax levy that you need funding for additional things when the first step is to monitor your budgets. I am completely proud of that. And like I said, we can't take the credit as trustees. The credit goes to our residents because our residents spoke up and said, hey, why are we increasing these taxes? Why are we increasing the tax levy? I think that, for me personally, would be the pivotal point of this year. Last year, I wanted a 0% increase. This year, we got it. And I'm proud for us. I really am. That was probably one of the most defining things that we've done in this community, and we couldn't have done it with your guys' help. And I have to thank you guys for that. I haven't thanked the residents yet. Thank you so much for that, because without your voice, we couldn't. It's our voice. I don't know if that made sense or not, but Nate, you were cut off. I don't know if you want to continue what you're saying.
Oh, I mean, I think you done a great job in regards to talking about our financial responsibilities that we focused on. You know, we implemented some things that can bring revenue to the community. We've eliminated some things that we did not see as transparent and accountable. So that's been great. I'm just more so looking at the chat box, looking to get to some of these other questions that we're focused on right now.
Yeah. So we have a few questions in the chat, and most of them deal with public safety. But since we're on the taxes, Sarah wants to know, what is our plan to incentivize businesses to invest in Maywood when property taxes are so prohibitive that tax buyers are no longer investing?
Sure. So when we think about it from a business standpoint, we have roughly about 18 different businesses in the village of Maywood that benefit from various incentives, right? And that means that they are receiving a discount in regards to how much taxes that they pay, and that burden. So when we think about the process of it coming back on the homeowners, we're not really using that benefit of partnering with those businesses and making sure that we get workforce development. So when we actually give incentivizations to businesses, such as being different opportunity zones, enterprise zones, class 6 or 8 from the village or from the Cook County area, we have to make sure, one, even though we're giving these incentives, what is their experience with the village? Even though we're providing the incentives, does what they're trying to do align with what plan we have for the village? So I think, again, when we talk, when I try not to drill down so much, but when I say we need a strategic plan, we need something for businesses to come and say, hey, we're interested, or we think we want this, and we know exactly where we want to put that, or we know that that's not of interest to us. That currently is not in place right now. We have a comprehensive plan that was paid for about 9 years ago that is supposed to be updated every year, and it has not been updated since it was put together. So when a business comes and they say, hey, you have a TIF district, can you help me reface this building? Can you help me, renovate the building? Those are things, depending on where it is, that we can do, but does what they're trying to do align with what we want as a residential village of Maywood? So I think when we say, what is the plan to incentivize businesses? It's to work smarter, not harder, by actually putting together a plan. That's the plan, to have a plan. Right now, we don't have a plan in the village of Maywood. And when you don't plan, you plan to fail. And that's what we've been experiencing. There are policies and practices that are on the books that are outdated and antiquated. We do not use technology to the best way that we possibly can. We do not advertise our businesses nor a business plan to attract businesses the way that we could. When you look at surrounding communities, they have comprehensive plans for every area of their community, and not just one big book. So if you want to do something on Madison, you can click and it'll tell you what that plan is for Madison. Or say if you were going to go Fifth Avenue, it would say what the plan is for Fifth Avenue. There's an overall plan for the village, but there's also areas of the community that we know need investment and need plans to attract those businesses. So when we talk about the high taxes, those are the instances that we're in. One big thing that we did this year was I hosted two town halls with Maria Pappas, the Cook County Treasurer, and then also hosted two different town halls with the Cook County Board of Review to focus on property taxes. Because a lot of times there are so many of our residents that are not benefiting from the incentives that they already can apply for. And it's, people perish for the lack of knowledge. So the goal is to continue to make sure that we provide better communication of the resources that our residents and our businesses have. I was proud to be a member of the Cook County Black Chamber of Commerce, where they gave away $16 million in grant funding to businesses during this time of COVID. And working as a business advisor with Cook County Black Chamber of Commerce, it was eye-opening how many businesses just did not have the information that they needed. So I think
I can testify to that.
we have to do a better job about communicating the resources and making sure that our businesses and our residents are benefiting from them and acting upon them.
Tag me in, Coach.
Go ahead, Tony. Give us like 1 minute, please.
So also, TIP districts are super important. Those are huge incentives for new business coming in. Community development needs to focus on that, bringing this business in. Also, now currently, some of the bigger corporations in the community, you got to hold them accountable. I'll give you an example. I am a small mom and pop business that employs Maywood residents. We expect that out of our bigger corporations as well. We need to hold them accountable if we're going to incentivize them for whatever reason. We also need to hold them accountable and make sure they employ our youth or our Maywood residents. I wanted to add that upon your piggyback off of your discussion, because we're currently seeing that we're asking some of the bigger commercial companies to say, hey, what are you offering? What job fairs are you having, or what positions are available? And that is currently happening as we speak. I just wanted to piggyback and add to your conversation, Nate, or Mr. Booker, or Trustee Booker.
Diane, want to weigh in?
One of the things that I think that we can do in the clerk's office, though, is to find ways to bring in more revenue with services, because basically that's what we are going to offer in the clerk's office. We can look into perhaps being an agent for passports, for issuing passports. That's a revenue that we can bring in probably very easily. So that's one of the things that I think we could do to bring in some revenue.
And then on Facebook, this question was answered. So Debo wanted to know if we're providing incentives, what are we requesting from the businesses, or what are we asking the businesses to provide? And that question was answered numerous times.
Well, I'll say, one thing we can add to maybe give them more clarity. So one thing that we are launching in the first quarter of this year. Last year, we renewed various incentives with Aetna Plywood, with Centos, with Seaway Supplies, and with ABW. They had incentives for the last 10 years, where when speaking to their HR departments, each of them will acknowledge the Village of Maywood never really asked them for workforce development. They had them put it in paper, but nobody actually ever followed up with them about it. So what they've all agreed to, and what we're working on to launch out of the Lightfoot Recreation Center, is a workforce development program that will focus on building bench strength for our residents. It makes no sense that we are almost 25% unemployment rate in the village of Maywood, where we could be preparing those people and developing those people. So it's a great partnership that's coming together from public-private entity, where they partnered with the Maywood Park District, who operates the Lightfoot Recreation Center, and they've agreed to sit on a board of advisors of human resources throughout the area, as well as provide financial resources to ensure the success of the program. So that's just one way that we are holding them accountable. And then we also will be having a quarterly update on what positions that they've had available, as well as have they employed people, how many people that they interview within the Maywood area, so that we can just be more transparent. We're giving these incentives, and we need to make sure that we are actually holding them accountable to the incentives that they have. Because if you don't hold a child accountable to do their homework, they're not going to do their homework. So if you don't hold a business accountable to make sure that they're investing in what they promise, then that's on us. So we're being more strategic about that.
Okay, and Deb, you can chime in.
I actually want to piggyback on something Trustee Sanchez said about recycling dollars, and even organizations working together in Maywood. As Trustee Booker said, there are so many silos that have been going on in the village of Maywood, and by the time you hear about a resource or something that can help you, is practically over because no one shared, or it's no coalitions. Well, it's small coalitions, but it's really no big coalitions that are partnered with the village, so that we can be that organization to be able to bring that information to residents of the village of Maywood. I would also like to see more partnerships with the police departments and the fire departments as well. I remember even just me being in school and just visiting some of the communities that I go to, the police departments are actually more engaged with the children in the community, and be able to have more police to be able to do community policing. Because if the residents trust the police, I mean, they will be more apt to call them when there's something going on. Hopefully we can actually get something balanced within the village, so that we can have more police officers to be able to do that. As a non-for-profit owner, being able to again recycle those dollars from businesses to be able to bring information to the not-for-profits, because a lot of the businesses don't think that not-for-profits are important. But if not-for-profits are actually giving their customers that come in information that's going on within the village, but if we don't have any information to give, there's nothing to give. So I'm truly excited about being a part of this ticket. We have a lot of components that we want to work on to reimagine Maywood. And one thing I wanted to talk about as well is reactivate programs like Neighborhood Watch and the drug abuse assistance program. There's so many families that do have family members that are impacted by drugs, and again, being ex-offenders. And if the village could have more programs, not have more programs, but partner with organizations to be able to disseminate this information to the residents, we would be able to heal our community more, because our community is broken. It's really broken. It's almost like a dark cloud is over it. We live in here, we're in existence, but we're not excited about saying, I live in Maywood. As a whole, we're not. So I want to see some love and brightness come back to the village. And I know that I am that person if you elect me as your trustee.
Okay, thanks, Deb. And that's a good segue into our next segment, because a lot of folks here in the chat on Facebook and on Zoom wants to know about our plan for public safety. Public safety is a big issue, especially a lot of the carjacking and gun violence that's happening in other neighborhoods and spilling over into our neighborhoods, and even happening here in our neighborhoods with some of our own residents. What is our plan for violence, addressing the violence here in our community? So what is our public safety plan?
So I'll say one thing, that we don't have to wait to become elected officials to be community advocates, right? So right now, what we've been working on, as when Diane Williams introduced herself, she spoke on the Unity Action Group. Now, the Unity Action Group started a couple of years ago, and at the time we were focused very heavily on suicide prevention because we knew that there were a lot of mental health and suicide specifically with our youth taking place. What we're working on and trying to focus on is how to partner with various different agencies in regards to violence prevention through health systems. So we know when we can address a child from the early childhood all the way to adulthood in, engaging programming, in actual mentorship programming, in something simple like ensuring that, a third grader can read at a third grade level, that an 18-year-old, once they're done with high school, is ready to go into the workforce or ready to go away to college or the military or secondary education. We are working those angles. So we launched the Explore program last year, and that focuses on career and life readiness. So it also teaches character and integrity. We're working with the different agencies in regards to making sure we have partnerships between our public health institutions, our mental health institutions, various primary care facilities, as well as our faith-based law enforcement. We know that we are very close to downtown Chicago and throughout the city of Chicago overall. So, been having different conversations with organizations such as Cure Violence Chicago. They're based right in the Chicagoland area and they have facilities right in the Oak Park, Austin area, and we are not using them to the best of our potential. So, I think when we talk about how do we help someone not get on drugs? It's reintroducing the DARE program, which is drug abuse and resistance education, like Deborah Vines was speaking of. It's reintroducing that into the education program and the platform that we have for our youth. When we talk about how do we help eliminate violence prevention, we make sure that we focus on workforce development and actually have something for people to do. What do our youth right now have to do when they get out of school? Or even right now, school's out. Well, let's move past the what's the post heavy pandemic that we're going through COVID. What does it look like to revitalize and have the Lightford Recreation Center running nonstop with full programming that do full scope, full circle work for a community and for a family? What does it look like when we reestablish businesses such as full service restaurants, being able to shop within your community, go to get some produce that you in your community. I think once we start investing in what community pride means again, then we'll take care of what the violence has been. We also need to focus on our police department. A lot of police do not live in this community. I think at last count, we maybe had 3 officers that actually lived in the community. But just because they don't live in the community does not mean that they cannot be a part of the community. So we need to work on what does the process look like for having a police officer assigned to each elementary school to do a DARE program, to go in and talk to the kids and be officer friendly. What does it look like to have police officers, our fire, our EMS, and all of these individuals who are professionals within our community become active, engaged parts of a more prosperous Maywood? And I think once we put that plan together, it will take care of what's being spoken of in the chat room, like the slippery slope. The slippery slope is investing in our residents and investing in our community to have the community pride that we want, that everyone who's in Maywood can so speak of that's been in the past. Let's look at pride for the future.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Yep, 30 seconds, Tony.
I keep on reading the comments. I heard those it's sad. I heard those very same gunshots last night. Scary. It is ridiculously scary how more common this is getting. To put police officers on the street, you need funding. One of the things that we're focusing on is, I don't want to use the term auditing, but looking at the police budget, where we can trim a little bit of fat here and focus on getting more salaries. A current situation that is occurring in the village, not sure if you're aware of it or not, we are a couple officers short, and we are consistently requesting that these positions be filled. Another constant battle that we have our sleeves rolled up in. We want these positions filled immediately. The first thing that came to mind when I heard those gunshots, I wish we would have had those officers that we're still missing. Now, it's more of a broader. It isn't easy to say how to fill in. There's more to the algorithm to fill these positions. Now, we need to engage with the chief, we engage with the police and fire commission and the current administration, current actual employees. Also, little things, low-hanging fruit. Everyone knows what Taco Tuesday is. I was reading a police department's website of Criminal Tuesday, where criminals were arrested with firearms or what have you, and they post a picture of the firearm. Also, simple things like, I remember back in the day, we used to do this incentive for people to bring in weapons, and you would get a gift card. Little things like that. You know, if we can get one firearm off the street, hey, that's great. Now imagine we're getting 10, 15 firearms off the street, trading that in for, say, a gift certificate to, I don't know, $100 to Jewel or what have you. Little things like that. Little things that can help and assist and try to convince folks to turn in their firearms, whether legal or illegal. And that's something that we definitely want to work with our God, what is she called? The police liaison to start a simple program like that. I don't know. There's we can go on and on and on about this topic, especially on the finance side of it. But Ray only gave me 30 seconds. Thank you.
Okay. And then Paul Kano, he had a good point about community development and safety. We know community development. Paula Kano, I'm sorry. Community development and safety goes hand in hand, and she wants to hear about. We'll address later, or we can reach out to you directly about our plan to elaborate on abandoned properties that attract unwanted visitors and that add litter to our streets. And we'll definitely address those. So we're coming up on the hour. Melvin Lyford, Trustee Lyford, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I would like to comment. One thing that I've noticed from all of our conversation is the lack of communication. The lack of communication. We had a Maywood Herald paper. At least the people know the current events and things was going on, and they could have a communication with their village. Without the knowledge of the communication for people, how are they going to know? We are looking for our citizens to help us to do anything we need to do for them. They need the communication with our community. We need a system, such as we have with the Maywood Herald. We had to have a system where the people with knowledge and the people can bring us to us the knowledge that they need, and we know about it to help them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Lyford. And we had another comment. Rachel, she's elaborating on more of the services that we need to bring back. She wants to see a full service paramedic program in our village with the fire department. The fire department, as of course we know, they hire EMTs who are not, a lot of them are not full paramedics or have the paramedic licenses. And when they're transporting some of our residents to the hospitals, the residents aren't receiving the proper care or as much care as they could be receiving if we had actual paramedics on the back of those squads. So that's all a part of the full service program that the Maywood Together 2021 party is trying to bring to the village. And once we're elected April 6th, we will begin with a master plan, and the entire village will be involved. The entire village will be involved in this transition plan, and we're taking everybody's ideas into consideration, and that's helping us formulate the plan to moving our village forward. We'll allow Trustee Booker to kind of wrap up the conversation for us tonight. And we want, once again, our campaign office is 906 South 5th Avenue. If you want to stop by, check out the office, hear our plan, meet our candidates firsthand, help out, volunteers, or you can go on the website, Maywood Together 2021. Drop questions if you have them. we'll get back to you. We'll answer all questions. Trustee Booker.
Yeah, no, again, I was just going to say thank you everyone for this time and joining. This is one of many conversations that we're going to be having. This was more so of the introduction of who we are. Moving forward after this, we'll have a series of, we're just having a conversation with candidate for trustee Deborah Vine, candidate for trustee Tony Sanchez. We'll be spending time speaking to them specifically so you get a full chance to meet everyone and hear that it's teamwork is truly what makes the dream work when it comes to the Maywood Together Party. There are some things that were discussed in regards to some of our, what are we doing about our village and our abandoned properties? You know, earlier this year, we focused on a literati program where we picked up throughout the village over 14,000 pieces of trash just to focus on community beautification. We also implemented a See Something, Say Something initiative where if there was an abandoned lot or an abandoned building or even a building that had a broken window or broken door, to report that so that we can hold our department heads accountable. One thing that we truly did not touch on tonight that will be a drastic shift in life for the village of Maywood, and I can assure you on that, is holding our department heads accountable to do the job that they are paid to do. We have very well paid people. They need to be held accountable. We have people who have base pay with no bonus. We need to take away some of that base pay and add it to a bonus structure. That's how we keep a strategic plan accountable, by having each and every department on a plan that we can hold them accountable to and measure and pay out a bonus versus just pay out a regular paycheck regardless of what they do. Those are just a few different things that we're trying to do. Partnerships is what we've touched on a lot tonight. Big things that we did that we really didn't hit on is our COVID emergency response collaborative with Loyola that has tested over 1,000 different residents in response to COVID-19. I want to thank Diane, Trustee Sanchez, Trustee Lightford, Ray, and Deborah Vines for all helping over the season of 2020 with dealing with COVID. We gave out over $100,000 in food giveaway in regards to PPE, where we gave face masks, gloves, hand sanitizer. If you do need any face masks, you can most certainly come visit the office and we have face masks available. We have sanitizer available because we know this pandemic isn't stopping. We are going to be partnering more and more. Just this past, we partnered through the Education Foundation that a few of us on this ticket sit on that board, where we gave away over 250 coats and over 700 toys. We're partnering this weekend coming up at the Maywood Park District, where we're going to be giving food away to families to feed them, because we know during this pandemic time, life is not stopping, but we definitely know people who are in need of assistance. If you need assistance in regards to any of your bills or anything like that, you can most certainly reach out to us as well. And we can keep going on and on, but I don't want to take away too much of people's times, because I want you all to continue to log into these conversations and stay committed to an hour so that we don't feel like it'll drag on. But each week we'll start having different conversations. And an announcement, just so you know, when we say Maywood Together, it's not just the 5 of us running on the village board. We have partners that we're working with in the park district, in the school districts, in the libraries. So stay tuned for those conversations as well, because when we say we have to move this community forward, we're moving it forward from a state level all the way to Triton College, School District 209, School District 89. Resources for our community and moving us forward together is what we are all about. And actions are going to speak louder than words, because it's easy to talk, but we are doing the walk.
This wasn't enough time.
All
We
right,
need about 7 hours of dialogue.
All right, we definitely want to thank everyone for joining. Stay tuned, be on the lookout. And again, if you're in need of resources, stop by our campaign office, 906 South 5th Avenue. And we definitely, if we don't have it, we'll definitely point you in the right direction.
Can I touch on one last thing? I'm so sorry. Please, it'll take 30 seconds. I promise.
Countdown.
So one of the bigger battles that is coming up that gives direct access to the residents, because Maywood Together is also including the residents, is the opportunity to use your cell phone. And that's my kid, by the way. We want to push through this application that you can download on your phone. Take a picture of something unruly, send it to the village, have that issue in a queue, and make sure that it gets done. For example, a pothole, graffiti, a truck parked on 17th in Maywood Drive. We have been fighting for this app to come to fruition so that it gives access to the residents, have it on their fingertips, take a picture and send it to the village. And we can see how long it takes for that problem to get resolved. Wait on that. It's coming up on the next, hopefully, board meeting. I just wanted to touch on that for future things that we're also working on. So that helps on crime, that helps on anything. Having accessibility at a resident's fingertips, I think is super important. That was all I wanted to say.
Great.
Thank you, guys. Thank you once again.
You had a resident right quick. So the resident that asked, just really quickly, the program that Trustee Sanchez is referring to is called My Civic. It's a civic app that puts the power into the hands of the residents. So when it comes to having a village profile where you can pay your bills online, where you can go online to renew certain certificates or licenses that you may have, reporting various issues that may exist, the application is called My Civic, and it most certainly is compatible. Our business associate has researched this. This is something that we learned about at the National League of Cities Conference, where multiple communities are using it, and it is very useful to report issues, but also to hold department heads accountable for people saying, you never answered my phone call, you never returned my email. Well, guess what? They cannot do that in My Civic application, and it has so many other resources for the resident, but you cannot download it. It is available on the App Store, but you cannot download it now because the Village of Maywood doesn't have it yet.
I am proud of you.
You
I
could.
am proud of you.
All right.
I am proud of you.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
good night.
much.
Boy, they.